I'm the chair. If we could do a roll call of everyone with us, please.
Kathy Schofield.
Dan Byer.
We need to
Beal.
unmute. Was that Connie?
Yeah.
Tom, you need to unmute.
Hello.
Morning.
That's Tom. Looks like we are short of Janice right now. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Oh, geez, sorry.
Right.
yeah. And if we could have who else is on the line, please? We have Brad. Yep.
Me.
Brad's.
Yes, Brad, right.
Thank you, Brad. Do I need to ask who else is in the room as well? Well, we know who he is, Country Home Builders.
Okay. Yeah, I would have everyone introduce.
And we also have with us Lornie Tinio, Select Board. Oh, you're not here? Oh, as an applicant. Okay, perfect. All right, applicant. For the applicant, yep. Okay. Okay. And you're also applicants, yes? Yeah. When we get to their point, yeah, we'll bring them forward.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. And I think do we have Janice on the line?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Janice. Janice Malden Moores. Okay. So the first item on our agenda is to accept the minutes. Did everybody have chance to go through the minutes that Kathy kindly sent out?
Yes.
Did you see them, Janice and Tom?
No, I don't, actually.
Sorry, what did you just say?
Did you manage to check the minutes from Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. So the only person that didn't see them, Janice. Connie, you read them?
Yes.
Okay, and Dan, you're all set, you and I. I
I'm
think
all
we can
set.
accept them. And Janice,
So I'll move to accept the meeting minutes of January 17th, 2022.
I'll second. Can we all accept the meeting? Janice, did you want to abstain until you've had an opportunity to read them?
Yeah, I didn't see them at all. Yeah, sorry. I'm just looking
Okay.
now and I don't see them.
Tom, you accept?
Yes.
Thank you. Dan?
Yes, I.
Connie?
Yes. Yes. Connie, yes.
Okay,
Kathy, yes.
okay. So moved. We will accept the minutes. And Dan, would you have an opportunity to post those?
Yep, I will take care of that.
Okay, thanks. Do we want to go through the expansion plans or should we skip to the?
Yeah, let's go right.
If
Yeah.
nobody has an issue, we could probably skip the historic district expansion plans and the record room updates and go to the demolition requests as we have people here and on the line that will want to discuss that. We can
Yes.
actually go back to them afterwards. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay, so the first one we had was 56 Uxbridge Road. That's Mr. and Mrs. Hankinson. Would you like to come up and sit towards the front just so that everyone can hear you? Did everybody have an opportunity to look at the application that Dan emailed to all of us for 56 Uxbridge Road demolition?
Yes.
Connie, did you get a chance to see it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Janice, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I do not have my laptop with me because I'm having issues with it. It's at home. So Kathy, did you want to just spin by? Is this the one that is this the whole property that was coming down, or is this the one with the porch? That's the house. It's the house, right? Yep.
Says existing house lot on Lake Nipmuc.
That's the one. Yep.
Oh,
And what was the date on that? It's 19th.
19, was it the 35 or the 40?
12/24.
The date on this house. I'd have to look it up. Hang on.
I know it's
1940s.
1940.
Here, that's what it says on the review
Okay.
application.
Right. That's it.
1900 according to the assessors, but
Oh,
Okay, so this
isn't always correct.
yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about the property? Its current condition? Are you living there? Are you,
No, we have tenants there.
You have
and, We're gonna be, well, hopefully, it's what we demo. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, it's pretty beat and it needs to just be taken down, you know, there's ledge underneath in the basement, so that we have a lot of water issues and
yeah,
It needs to be redone.
it needs to be
Yeah.
redone.
And the idea is to actually take the whole house down and then build another house on the same footprint? A larger house, or is it the same size?
Probably, we had 52 aside of it, so what we did was we basically just stayed within the lot lines that were there, right?
Yep.
And then we just came forward
Okay.
or towards the road.
Obviously, we got an engineer that's gonna
Oh,
figure
sure.
it all out.
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we'll stand within there right now. I don't think we've got room to move,
it's
if at
No,
all.
there-
a
yeah,
tight spot
But,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any history on the property? Is there anything?
No, I mean, a lot of the lakeside properties don't have a lot of history. I mean, I think they all originated with the Taft family. So,
Yeah.
and they just, parceled them off.
Most, for the most part, and that's for the whole lake, cottages.
Yeah, a lot of them were
You know, they
cottages,
slapped
yeah.
them together.
Yep.
So they spent there for the summer, and
Yeah.
this is one of the last ones.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they were all little 50-foot lots, you know? but
Yeah.
They were just cottages.
Okay.
Thomas and Marion Stevens, I don't know if you remember them.
I
Joe Pike,
that's
that was their
Yeah,
home.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing, how people were able to continue living
Yeah.
in the
Oh, yeah.
cottages.
Yeah. yeah,
Little cool in the winter.
yeah.
So, I mean, we're obviously experiencing a lot of change, around the lake and, we like to see when, it kind of stays in character. And I know there's a new property that's right next door that that went up, 7 or 8 years ago?
2016.
Yeah, so, and they did a lovely job. We had a very nice visit with those
Yeah.
people, so. So I think it's something that, we expect to happen and,
So there's nothing, so we don't really have, so it wouldn't really qualify for in terms of like anybody living there that it was, anything.
I don't believe.
Don't think so.
Most of the more significant structures are a little further down.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. Age is the only thing, and that's not necessarily, does it have any historic features or anything to it? We probably should. He's going.
You've probably seen everything.
I was going to say, yeah, right.
We know right off the bat.
When would your if this was, I mean, obviously from us, if we don't find any significance to actually putting in a demolition delay, when's your plan? Would it be to take it down like this year, this summer, or is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, probably within,
Well, it depends. We have tenants there.
yeah, we have
Okay.
And
tenants.
we gotta wait for them.
Yeah.
all right.
And
One of
they've
the
been great
things,
with us and we've been great with them, so
yeah,
I'm not about to push.
okay. One of the things we would like, if possible, is when your tenants are gone, if we could just have an opportunity to come in and photograph it, even though there's nothing, it's just we're trying to build this history. And it's at the moment, it's not relevant. You kind of, well, it's beat up, it's this, it's coming down, whatever. But in, 50 or 80 years, they're going to be doing, different projects on the houses that were at the lake.
Yeah.
And we just like to have, we do this like on all of the properties, and you look at it and you go, oh, well, there's nothing to photograph. But if we could just do it, just so that we have that with the Historical Society, like you said, there's probably nothing there, but we can then go back and say, this was one of the cottages. It wasn't significant. There was no reason to prevent it being torn down and a new house being put in its place. But it just would be something, I think we need that, don't you, Kathy?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could do that.
I
When
don't
your
see a
tenants are
problem.
gone.
I don't see a problem, no.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Does any other person on the commission have any comment, anything they would like to discuss?
I don't.
Dan, no?
No.
No,
Tom?
I'm good.
no,
Janice, good?
Yep.
Okay. So Kathy, did you want to make a motion for this?
Yeah. I move to approve the demolition of the cottage located at 56 Uxbridge Road.
Move to find it not significant. Right, right.
Sorry. It's been a long day.
Yep.
I tell you. Not historically significant.
Yeah. And that there would be no reason for us to prevent your application for a permit. Because obviously now, once we say, okay, then you have to go to the building department and
Get the permit.
get your permit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But can I have a second on that, please?
I'll second that.
second.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, all in favor? Tom,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Janice,
Yep.
Lynn, yes, Kathy, yes, Dan, yes. Okay, all set. We will notify the building department that there is no reason for this to be delayed.
Okay. And again, you want the inside,
Photos?
Yeah,
Photos,
yeah,
yeah.
if we could do
Yeah.
that, that
Alright.
would be.
Whenever, yeah, whenever you're at the point, just, before the first hammer gets swung, just,
Okay.
okay,
that. That's
with that
perfect.
ambit of spring.
We'll be stopping by for coffee after that.
Don't just right up the street. There's no reason why we can't have it.
Oh, we think you have better coffee.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you. Have a good night.
good night. Okay, and the next item on the agenda, 7 Taft Avenue.
Or so we think it's 7 Tap.
Well, yeah, it's either seven, according to the assessors, it's 10 Old Taft Ave, does stretch up to Taft Ave, so there's a kind of two addresses for this.
And we're not giving you permission for two, Lonnie. You pick one. You pick one.
Tap, tap, that's where the front door is.
There we go.
Well, there are houses on it. That's the one next to the car showroom, right? That's. Oh,
Well,
really?
this one is actually listed as Old Tap.
Old Tap, yeah.
Yep. And it's on the card anyway.
Yeah, I know that it's got a road sign that says that.
So this was built in 1935. It's an older, obviously an old cottage. The photos, Dan, do you have the photos?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
So Lonnie, just for the record,
Mhm.
the deed search puts it at 9.
On the,
Not that that makes a huge difference.
no, understood. It just in the, I was going by, I didn't look at the deed. I was
Oh, yeah,
going by the
yeah,
card.
no,
Sorry.
that's fine.
Okay.
Well, Lonnie really should have kept this place up.
Yeah, well, this isn't my place. This
They're
was-
going to keep the curtains.
This is, we're just helping them to, build a new home. The folks that bought it, the Lamberts, they would be here this evening, but they're actually out of town, so I told them I would come. But these are the photos that I took. I didn't go inside. But from the outside, you can tell that, this was obviously a cottage at one point. You can see the foundation on the structure is just kind of cinder block. I think if you go to one of the pages, I don't even know if there's a basement in it or a crawl space. Again, I didn't go inside.
It doesn't look very big. What's the size of this?
This is it's 56 by 36 by 20, roughly.
Okay.
It's got a couple jogs in it. So the square footage here. I can't do this.
Okay.
It's 890 square feet.
Small. Are they going to be rebuilding
Yes.
inside that footprint?
Yeah, they'll probably go even a little bit bigger. Well, they'll go within the setbacks of
Two-story?
the lot. It will probably be two to maybe 3 stories based on that. I think they're going to try to have the garage come out of actual Taft Ave. And then the house will kind of be behind the garage down to Old Taft Ave.
Got it.
I haven't.
So did we find anything? Was there anything historical? Was nothing? It's just another one of these little.
Luther Taft. The other one was Josiah Taft. I mean.
So all the Taft
yeah,
cottages, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. From the looks of it, there isn't anything there that could be.
Salvage.
No,
So I do have, if just.
even a paint job wouldn't work, would it?
How long has it been unoccupied?
I don't know. It went on the market and the Lamberts bought it, and that's when we kind of found out about it.
Anybody know that it's,
Did what?
I mean, that it was occupied at all? And
I don't know that, I mean, not that I was down on Old Taft Ave much, but even when my brother lived on Taft Ave, I don't recall it ever unless they were just parking there to because they own the property.
To
they were
use the
using
lake.
You know?
Yeah,
But it doesn't look like if somebody was living there, it is pretty rough.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do have roughly what it's going to look like. So it looks like that yeah, sorry that everybody at home can't see this. I can, can you?
Get it the other way around. This way? Towards the TV.
Oh, the TV?
You know how to thing. See, oh, it's just a white screen. Hang on. Oh, actually, no.
You got it. So that's why it's a 2-story. Probably with another little loft upstairs.
I assume this is gonna like a completely brand new compliant septic system versus whatever disasters there now.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. No, this, I mean, they have to go through the full permitting of the town to get it done. So,
yeah, you'd have to. You
Yeah,
can't use
I mean,
anything that was there.
it's possible a tight tank, or if they've got one of those new systems that can fit there. It's a longer, skinnier lot, so it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
a ton of room. But there's,
My reason for asking, I think, like looking at, it's unfortunate it has to come down, but there's other benefits. This is probably one septics that we the hole in the ground, so
oh yeah, I would imagine,
there's some benefit to it.
I would imagine that this definitely is cesspool. Again, didn't go looking.
Yeah.
Some places don't have to look.
Yeah, right. Just running out the
Gets led
back.
to you, yeah, yeah.
Again, I don't know the history of anybody living there, so, not sure if it was.
This is one of those ones that, you don't want to see anything come down, but there isn't anything there that you can say, no. Again, will we be able to take photographs inside maybe? I mean, there's probably nothing, again.
No, I don't foresee any reason why. I'll reach out to them and ask them.
Okay.
And let you know, and we can get you in there right away. I mean, heck, not going in there myself. I'm curious to see what it looks like anyhow, but.
Yeah.
I also might want to proceed with caution. I don't know what the floors look like.
Well, we'll let Kathy go in first. We normally do. Kathy always goes in first.
Floors.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad. I mean, all those cottages are going, but when you see something like that, you just don't have a choice. It's not like it's, in good condition. Someone's living there that you can do
So,
something.
It's funny. They look like they put some new windows in it at some point.
Yeah.
And then it was just time. Yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, the porch is all falling off.
Yeah,
It's too
It
bad
doesn't
'cause
look
it
like.
could be
that's
great.
the in-law apartment.
Yeah, the in-laws. Or the outhouse.
Jeez, yeah, that's sad.
Right off the kitchen.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, well, if we don't have anything on that, does anybody on the commission have any comment on this one? Connie? No?
No, it's fine with me.
Okay, Janice?
Nope, I think it's too bad. It has a beautiful view.
I know. Well, that's why people buy them. Tom, any comment?
I just was the age of the building said it all? I didn't hear.
1909.
What was it?
1909.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, well, if nobody has any other discussion or comment, we should probably move to a motion.
All right, I will make the motion. If I get it right. I move to find the property at number 10 Old Taft Ave not historically significant.
I second. Okay, Tom? You vote?
Aye.
Aye. Janice?
Yep.
Connie?
Connie, I.
Dan?
Dan, I.
Kathy, I.
Kathy Eileen, aye. Okay, motion is carried. we will then pass this through and notify.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and call us if you're gonna head in there, so.
Yeah,
I'll let you know right away.
Yeah,
I'll-
that would be great.
I'll reach out to them. I'll email them as soon as I get out of here.
okay,
All right, thanks.
thanks. Seems so sad when you can kind of go one, yes, two, yes, okay, last one.
Tough day.
I know. But at least you know what, I mean, something like that, we can't preserve. There's nothing to do. But if we can get some kind of blight law or something in that doesn't happen,
Right.
then we're going to be okay. But, there's too many of those around. And when people
You
want
mean
to,
where it's being held up by cinder blocks, it's,
yeah, I mean, there's nothing that we can do. I mean, with something like that, it's just a disaster.
And I think, in so many cases, these were summer cottages that people, don't, live in year round and they go.
Well, but they're not, I don't think they're actually put up
Yeah.
with the intention of, still being there in 200 years, or in this case, over 100 years. People didn't think when they put it up, it would be around in 100 years. They just didn't care. So that's what we've got to reap the benefits of. But hopefully if they put something tasteful up there and, it's got a good septic, we should be okay.
Like, I think that's, it's a call to really survey the lake area
Yeah.
and determine, the
What's
more
happening.
structures.
Yeah. Yeah,
What would be worth hanging on to.
I know. Okay, Mr. Wright. How are
Hello,
you?
how's everyone?
Good, how are you?
Very
Um,
well, thank you.
Good. So we are here with your application for 55 Milford Street, where you're proposing to take down a porch from the back of the house and then put
That's
a new
correct.
structure up. Okay.
Yes,
I don't really know anything about this house. Is this an old house again? Was this another 1900s?
Here, hang on, I got some.
What you got?
55.
Um, You should update, station.
Yep, it's that.
I should update this. All right, I gotta pull it up, but I have the pictures he uploaded to the port.
There we go. Yep. Okay.
The house, I want to say it's 1920.
Yeah, I thought it was 1900s, but I wasn't sure when. Okay.
Deed search.
Did we do a deed search on it? It's probably, I mean, it's 100 years old. Okay. It also looks like maybe that porch was obviously not original to the house.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan?
1920.
1920. Okay, so it's just on 100 years, just over 100 years old. Yeah, the porch doesn't look like it was original to the house anyway. So we're not actually doing anything with the structure of the house.
Right.
So,
So what
Do
is
we-
being added on another building, or
I'm sorry?
what's being added?
Brad, is it a two-story addition on the back?
yes, we're gonna remove the deck screened-in porch, and in the same footprint, just put a two-story. So it's gonna be a dining room on the first floor, and the second floor is gonna be master bath and a walk-in closet.
Okay,
Oh,
same footprint.
Which is 12 by 16.
I would agree from the pictures, it doesn't appear that porch was added on later.
Yeah, it definitely was added later. I mean, it was probably just a port, it's not part of the original structure. I guess the only thing is by putting a different, an addition on, you're changing the structure, but it's not like it's visible or anything from the road. I don't see,
Yeah. Not a street view.
yeah.
Was considered under demolition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would agree.
Part of the structure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know that the house is obviously 100 years old, but I don't think it's not like the house is being torn down. It's a deck off the back that wasn't original to the house, and it's not changing the house.
Right.
So, does anybody have any comments on this before we move to a motion? Connie, anything?
I had no objections. I thought that was probably looked like a nice thing to do for the house and give them a little more room.
Yep.
And you know, the 3-season porch, you know, it's like you say, it probably wasn't original, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just gonna increase the value of the house. They'll get more
And it'll
room.
make it look nicer. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a
absolutely.
beautiful lot and a beautiful landscaping, so I'm sure they'll do a nice job.
Oh, I think they'll do a fabulous job. They normally do.
Mm.
Okay. Tom, did you have any comment? Okay, why don't we just move to a motion, Kathy? I'll make a motion to, I move to
Sorry,
accept,
thanks, but I'm good.
what did he say? What did you say, Tom?
I was trying to get to the unmute button, but I'm good.
Okay.
Everybody else pretty much covered it.
All right. I move to accept the plan for demolition of the porch at 55 Milford Street, as this home is not going to be, the actual significance of the home is not going to be really altered. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, Connie seconds. Okay. Kathy?
I,
Dan?
I,
Lynn, I. Janice?
Yep.
Tom?
Aye.
Okay. The motion's carried unanimously. You can proceed without any issues from the Historical Commission and deal with the building department. Mr. Wright?
Terrific. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great night.
You
Yeah,
too. Thanks.
you too.
stop,
Thank you.
Brad.
Thanks.
Good night.
Okay. Well, that was quick. I know. I know it's always sad. All right, so if everyone is okay, let's move back to number 3 on the agenda, which was the local historic district, the expansion plans to include hopefully new districts. Dan, did you want to make your comment following on from the email you sent me?
yeah, and so we actually talked about this at the Historic District Commission an hour ago. Unfortunately, so I got a bunch of history sent to me. I started compiling it. Unfortunately, I think it's too short a notice to get this on the Maytown meeting. That we have to
Yeah.
send a report to the state
Yep.
60 days before we held our public hearing. So if we hold that public hearing the same day as the town meeting, that 60-day date is March 7th. That gives us like a week to get everything done, get everything finalized, get it to the state.
And I'm not going to be here to help.
You know, they might or might not have comments. Last time it took a while. So my recommendation is that we table this to November, and in the meantime, I think Washington Street, there's just pull everything together, get some feedback, get it put on, and then maybe now we can use this time and do North as well and get it all done.
I think that's a good idea. I don't like the idea of pushing it back, but I don't think we have a choice, to be honest with you. But maybe if we continue with the plan as is now, if we pull Washington Street together, get the document ready, and we can get it sent to the state, that then gives us the opportunity to work on maybe North and a couple of the other ones that we're doing, and then we present them all in November. I am concerned about Washington, but I don't know what else we can do.
I would suggest, I mean, I think we could have a draft of the Washington stuff done by the next meeting, but I would wait and send one report into the state with everything like maybe in May or June. I mean, North Ave, it's just copying it off the National Register.
Right.
I think most of the fluff is the same. It's just plugging in the list of addresses.
I think I would like to, I think if we try and hold it, I mean, we can present it to the town in November, but I think I want to get all this work done, get state approval, get everything done so that come November, we're all set because, you know, people go away over the summer and I don't want us to all of a sudden be in August and say, oops, we haven't got time. Again, I'd like us to kind of prepare and get all this done way before.
I mean, my primary concern are the homeowners.
Yep.
That we have spoken to and what that does or doesn't do to benefit them, because they clearly have some legitimate concerns.
Oh, yeah.
So not addressing those is really tough. I'm afraid that if we, and again, it's all fear-based, if we postpone until November, will we get kickback about not getting it in front of the entire town? Like we should be doing at an annual town meeting. So that's gonna push down another 6 months. Because that's the way these have been presented to us, bylaw changes and district.
So on the timing, Dan, we have to get everything done. Excuse me. We have to get everything done by, you said it's 60 days to the state, right? So we'd have to get everything done by March 7th.
Well, and that's even too late. That assumes we hold the public hearing the night of, oh, I'm not gonna find this email now, the night of the town meeting. So.
Wait. Hold the public hearing the night of the town meeting?
Yeah, like at 5 o'clock, have a public hearing on the district. So March 7th is 60 days before May 6th. So if we want to have let's say we want to have the public hearing the day before the town meeting, that means that our deadline to get stuff to the state is now Friday, March 4th. And that's no room for error.
So tell me what would have to take place in order for us to, let's say, and I don't laugh, get everything in the mail by Monday. We have, all of the properties,
So I
are
have
the
the
narratives
report.
done?
I started pulling it together. I need probably, in the next day or two, I can finalize. There's still some more info we need. I think you have everything on the history that's relevant. I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
There's some, for lack of a better term, fluff that needs to get filled in.
yeah.
There's just a lot of junk the state wants, so I had things that I had questions on. We would have to have another meeting of the district commission, I think, to vote on it, which is doable. Because I think it's coming.
Wait, of the district commission?
They're the ones recommending the new districts. They're the ones with the. Which I don't think that's, they could meet, if we can get a quorum. What does this say?
Like I said, my primary concern is just, what happens? Are we leaving people in limbo? Or do we just do?
Well,
So you're just talking about doing Washington Street, Kathy?
yeah.
I thought Jane had a lot of that done, that research.
No, they do. They have all the history and everything, but the thing is, it's not just having the history. You actually have to import all of that history into the specific document that we have to submit to the state.
Right.
Which, it looks like Dan has done a lot of already, but there are other things that actually need to go along with that report. Don't we have to send maps with that too, Dan?
So, the maps are easy because I'm
Okay.
just going to take the map and Photoshop it like we did last time. I think the paperwork could be done.
Okay,
It's the approvals. We basically have to get a document that we're okay with, I would say by the end of this week. And we need to post a meeting of the district commission to get them to vote on it, maybe a joint meeting. And then we got to submit to the state. And then,
I'm going to be really straight up with you here. I would love to do it.
Yeah.
I am leaving on Friday, and I'm not back until the 6th. But I would do anything and everything I can this week to do that. Any work you need me to do, I would absolutely do. If you want me to go and talk to the homeowners or whatever, I would be more than happy to go do this week if we could kind of have a shot at getting this done. We have spoken to some of the homeowners on there. They're obviously, scared about what's happening. If we could do this and push this through, I think we should try. Like I said, whatever we need to do, I'm around the next couple of days. I will do it.
put some stuff in an email. There's like 5 or 6 things that we need feedback on. And then I think we need to confirm with at least a quorum of the district commission that we can meet. I would say tentatively, 6 o'clock on the 28th, but there's planning board at 7. So like, I won't have a lot of time.
It won't take a lot of time, no.
If nobody has any, I don't think anybody has any major objections, just making sure we have it done right. So if we want to.
I don't think anybody from, the historical commission and the historic district has got any objections. It's just getting it all done and getting it together.
Timeline, right.
We need a timeline on it, yeah.
So what if we were to do this? What if we were to talk to the homeowners?
That's not part of, that can be a timeline.
Yeah, that can be done actually during the 60 days.
Just
When
sending
we've actually,
report to the
it's
state.
sending the report to the state because, yeah.
Tell me what you need, because I can't do anything tomorrow or Wednesday, but I can pick up the ball on Thursday and Friday and just do district stuff.
Well, here, I can just, right now, I'll give you a quick overview of the things that stuck out to me. I
I can
need
like set things up. and
something
follow
about
the
why
format.
6 Bates is worthy of a district, why 137 Uxbridge Road is worthy of a district. I have the
Oh, wait,
history.
wait. All right, I've got a question here. So you're talking about, so we're not doing just Washington.
We were doing those 2 extras.
We're going to do the 2 extras as well.
It's trivial at that point.
Okay, why 6 Bates
So-
and what was the other one?
So 6 Bates and 130 Hartford Ave, I think it is, or 137 Uxbridge. I just need like maybe it's in the history and I missed it. It just seemed to kind of talk more about the general history of the property versus, so-and-so lived there and he was very important and it's a blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Okay, well, we can ask to get that information from the Historical Society.
I'm assuming one of you probably knows it.
May I say something?
Absolutely,
Sure.
yes.
All right, Lynn. As far as 6 Bates Street goes, I think I made the connection with the Haywards there.
Okay,
And what they did in the town, and one of them was a lieutenant during the Revolutionary War, et cetera, et cetera.
okay.
So, anyway, I think the only. Yeah,
Olivia Haywood,
I
yes.
see a little bit here.
Yeah, we've got it there.
So if
Oh.
that's all right,
I don't know if that's not, if that isn't enough, I can delve more into the Haywoods.
it's one of the few remaining like historic homes in that area, correct?
Right, yes, it is.
Yeah, because the rest of them sit in commercial.
Well, there's one other too. We should talk to the guy. It's 13, I think it's 13 Bates. It's the old
Yeah.
schoolhouse. And I might have their info.
And actually,
off top, but-
Jotham Haywood leased the land for the schoolhouse.
Right, which I think was that land.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you put that in there. So that one,
I did.
and then the same
It was-
question on the Uxbridge Road, I just, And I didn't look that close, but
That was hard.
yeah.
That was hard.
What is your thought, Jane, on, pushing this through?
Well, either way, I mean, the only thing that we need to do, the Historical Society and the local Historic District Commission, is take photographs of all the houses. There has to be black and white of the ones that are not historic, and regular colored photos of the ones that are. That's it. And we're going to do that this week, give them to Dan.
Okay.
But that's it. And we were planning on starting on North Avenue anyway. We're producing a book, the Society on the Historic Homes in Mendon. So this is just, rather than duplicate the effort, we thought we might as well do it for this
Yeah.
purpose.
So what is your gut feeling about, trying to, forge ahead to get this on the annual town meeting, or do you have an opinion at all? Or do you think,
Well, only one that I have spoken to was Brendan Chanel, who was really on board. And actually just pulled papers for the select board, by the way. But anyway, if you folks have spoken to other members or other people who live there, I don't know. Dan's the one that has to sort of put it all together, or he volunteered to do it. Let's put it that way. So it seemed to me that there was a lot of work in putting our information in that report that goes to the state. That's all. But I really don't know. I've never done this before, Kathy.
so in theory, we could wait on 137 Oxbridge.
We could.
And we can prioritize 6 Bate Street as going in on this next as a kind of a package deal. Is that?
Yeah. Well, that's what we did with our house.
Yeah.
I
And
like the idea of that. I really like the idea of that. I think if we are going to be doing districts, I think where the district is going to be a challenge, like North Ave, like Washington Street, where you're doing multiple houses, I like the idea of that going before the full town.
Yeah.
Where it's individual houses, where people actually want their own property to be a district, then I don't know that it's got to go before the whole town. I think it can go to the November meeting. But I think if there's anything we can do to try and push Washington and 6 Bates through together, like we did with the
Yeah.
Center District and Jane's house, then I think we should try and get it done if we can.
However, you
It
cannot,
might be tight. What,
You-
Jane?
you cannot do individual houses by themselves unless they're with a district.
Why?
My understand, I don't know. That's my
Oh, no.
understanding.
No, you can, no, we can do that because each one is, each house becomes a district on its own. You can do them separately. Like
I-
your house, we did the two together with the center and then your house. But as far as I'm aware, when we were looking at doing it, because that was going to be the plan.
But
I think I would, I think I would call Michael Steinitz or someone in the state to confirm that.
Yeah, okay.
And you know what, I can call Michael on Thursday and just also clarify the dates. Dan, I think
if we can,
you should
let me,
distribute some of the work, so,
Yeah.
my part is done. I just gonna need some more information from people. Let me check the date one more time.
Yeah, if you
I
could
don't
check
wanna
on
throw
that.
you under the bus to get all this done.
The other thing, Jane, we might be able to do other single districts if we consider trying to get North Ave into November with some single houses. But to the best of my knowledge, when we were doing this, Mr. Skelly told us that he wanted to do like multi-house districts. He didn't like the idea of single house districts because it became like a Swiss cheese. Right, a Swiss cheese idea. And when we sat and talked about it, I think Janice and Tom will probably remember, we sat there and said, in a town like Mendon, the only method that works is Swiss cheese, or you have to make the whole town of Mendon an historic district because you're going to miss other houses out. And
Right.
when we talked about it, we said, you know, what happens if one person wants to make their house a district? And he said, well, you can do that. You can do it, but you're going the Swiss cheese route, which, like I said, in Mendon, that's the only route we can do. In other towns, it doesn't matter because you've got like the majority of the historic homes are grouped together. With ours, they're not. They're spread everywhere. So, you know, but if you could check that, Kathy,
Yeah.
and we'll figure that one out because, you know, well, there's no way we're going to be able to do more than 2 if we can for May.
Just sort of check on dates.
Yeah.
If we get everything locked down, we vote on it at a new meeting at 6 o'clock, Monday, February 28th, submit it to the state on March 1st. That means that gives us 60 days is April 30th. I would suggest we should be holding a public hearing
Yeah.
today.
Yep.
We'll have to negotiate with master plan in terms of space because
Yep.
they're on Mondays. Otherwise, you got Cinco de Mayo is the 5th, but that's a water meeting. So if those dates work and we can.
Those dates, I think those dates work if we can get everything tied down for the 28th.
Yeah.
I can finalize the report, my part, I think, in the next, you know, maybe even tonight. And
Okay.
Maybe some stuff we gotta fill in.
We'll get
Okay.
we'll get the photographs in the next couple of days.
That would be great because if we can get that whole document tied together. Now, is that, Dan, is that everything for 6 Bates and for Washington, or is that just,
Yeah, 6 Bates is nothing.
okay, so 6 Bates, but, and then we'll move 137 Uxbridge to,
Honestly, most of this document is just a bunch of very repetitive.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, but what you have to do is you just have to follow, every one of those headings was ones that we had to put something in, even if it was repetitive. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, if we can do those 3. But the thing is, if you're going to do a meeting, so Dan, do we have to notify, because we're going to need to post a meeting, aren't we, if it's Monday?
Do it like tomorrow.
By tomorrow, but that's for the historic district, not for us, right?
I would suggest, well, so I think the district, for simplicity, is the one who's recommending this.
Right.
I would suggest we post it as a joint meeting, just meet, go to the final thing and call it a day.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
I think it should
Um,
just be a full remote meeting, even though.
Okay, I'm not going to be around to do this. I'm sorry.
Monday. That's
I'm gone. I'm gone Friday night. So,
She's running out of here.
Me, Cat, well, I mean, district, the commission doesn't need a quorum, so it's the district.
okay.
Jane, Janice. Del,
Guys,
me.
Connie, Janice and Tom, could you do a virtual meeting on Monday, the 28th of November at 6 p.m.?
November?
What did I, February,
February.
Yep.
next week.
Yes, I could.
Okay, great. Janice, yes. Connie, yes. Tom, do you think you'd be able to? Thomas.
Oh, I have a hard stop at 8:30 on that night. That's the only thing.
That's okay. That's okay. But if you can do 6 o'clock, it's not going to be an 8:30 meeting. It'll probably be like 20 minutes, half an
Okay,
hour.
perfect.
Okay, all
Perfect. Yeah, I can do that.
right. Dan, do you want me to do an agenda?
I'll do it like tonight because I'm gonna stay here and finish some things up, so.
You sure? Because you're taking all this work on you. We can do some of this, you know.
And
But
so-
I'm gonna have to repost anyway, so that's what I'm saying, I'm gonna do it like. in the next-
Okay, all right.
That's 3 seconds of work, just do your thing, push a button.
I know, but we're giving you a lot of things that each take 3 seconds.
Whatever reason, I think we're better off just trying to get our stuff in as early as possible.
Yeah,
'Cause it
Okay.
seems like the closer we get to the end of the week, things start going.
well, anything that you need doing, I am around for pretty much, you know, I've got appointments here, there and everywhere, but I can sit and really get some work done if you guys want me to do this.
So we'll know by Friday, Deanne.
Yeah, well, I'll,
We'll set it up so by Friday we'll know whether or not
Yeah.
we can just plow through this or if we have to hold it. But I would say that, you know, even if we don't make like our own personal Friday deadline, we just go ahead and
Just do it. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
and that will give us.
Okay. All right, so I won't be around for that.
Don't worry about it.
I pick 1 week a year. 1 week a freaking year. Nuts. All right. All right, we'll do that then, and we'll just see what we can do to try and get this in there. Because it really is, you know, I think it's important. And then what we can do is we can actually go to the people.
Yeah.
As soon as I get back, we can go and knock on the doors. Yeah, go and knock on doors and,
And really, I mean, if we all, you know, take 3 houses.
yeah,
we
oh God, there's, yeah.
you know, 2 hours.
And what I have done, and I will send it to you guys, is I've put together a list of questions and answers for the homeowners. You know, because we had that situation before, you know, when we're knocking on people's doors, they've got to really, oops, did we lose everybody, Dan?
I hit a button, hang on, it'll come back.
Okay,
Dumb thing, they're there,
they're there, okay.
touch something I should.
So they can still hear us?
Yep.
Okay, all right, so, I will get everybody once this paperwork and everything is submitted and we go to everybody's houses, we'll have questions and answers because they will want to know, what does this mean for me? What does this mean in terms of what I can do with my house and what I can't, especially if other people have been approaching them to maybe purchase their property. And, you know, I think it's important that they know that, yes, if you want to paint your house scarlet with red dots, you can do it. Love it. But all those kind of amendments do have to go through the district commission. And then I'm assuming then that the district commission is going to then control all of these districts, right?
Right.
Unless, you know, I think in some towns they have separate district commissions. I don't think that makes sense in Mendon.
No.
No, especially if you've got one house in a district.
But in a town where you have very different districts, it might.
It might, yeah, it might, but I think, you know, the same guidelines that our center district and Jane and everybody has applies to all houses. It's not going to be different for each district. So,
No,
all right.
Ours is more like a salvage yard.
Swiss cheese sounds a lot nicer.
I know.
Thank you, Mrs.
Sorry
Schofield.
about that.
Um,
Bad.
All right, so as soon as we'll have sent this, stuff to the state, and then it's a matter of actually talking with the homeowners. And we've already gotten in there because there's a few homeowners like Brendan and then Jay. There's several people already that are very interested in all of this. So, and they're willing to come and help and talk to their neighbors with us. So that's always a good thing as well. Okay.
Ian, I don't have the form in front of me, but when do we need to get in front of the select board with this proposal?
So that's totally from the perspective of the creation of the district. We submit to
Okay.
the state, we hold our own public hearing. What we do need to do is submit. Select board, I believe the deadline is March 17th.
Okay, so
So
we would need the
that's something
warrant article.
that's something I was going to include in the final thing. It's just, to see if the town will vote to create a district, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
I believe we have to submit our report to the planning board, but I don't believe they have to rule on it.
Yeah,
I-
it's just information.
yeah, I thought last time, we went before the select board last time. We didn't go to the planning board.
We may want to, I think, last time it was of that study committee on findings.
Right, that's what yeah.
So
But
perhaps,
that that was because they appointed us.
perhaps when they discuss the articles to be on the warrant.
Then we can be there for that. Okay, got it. Yep,
Because I'm sure that,
yeah,
they will have to talk.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
All right.
All right. Daniel, any help you need, shout, please.
And I have 2 whole days that I can sit in front of my computer and write and compile and.
Yeah, anything we need.
documents.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but if you can talk to that guy at Mass Historic beforehand and just
Yeah,
make
I
sure,
will,
so
I
that,
will.
now are we submitting it to him?
Yes, and I believe it might be Jen Doherty.
Okay,
Well, but Jen took Chris Kelly's,
she took Chris Kelly's job, yeah.
she would be a great resource.
You could verify what the specific process is, does it need to be a formal certified mailing or just, hey, here's our thing?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll get all of those worked out and get it
We'll
out
need
to
to do that
everybody.
Tuesday.
Yeah, okay. All right. Good job, everybody. On to number 4, records room updates.
So we met with the Board of Selectmen and the FinCom was in attendance and they have approved the establishing the lot lines in the block, inclusive of the records room. So for anybody who isn't aware, we believe that the records room exists on a lot of land that it sits on, and just
That
that
it
amount.
what? What did you
It
say?
sits
That it what?
That it is sitting on as much lot as is attached to the building. So it's only whatever the footprint of the building is the land that is associated with the records room. So all of the other surrounding land does not belong to the town. It belongs to the Lowells. And when we looked at the lot lines on the Mass GIS, they seem to be really scrambled up down in this area, in the block and most of Jane and David's property. So they've approved funding to move ahead with having all of those lot lines. What do I want to say?
They're going to survey
Yeah,
all
they're
the
gonna
lot
survey
lines.
the lot
Yeah.
lines. So we know what we have to work with.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much.
Yeah, it could be nothing.
Yeah.
It could be absolutely.
But
nothing.
in any event, we need to know because the maps, the town maps are incorrect, no matter what. And because they actually have the records room, the land that the records room sits on, they actually have the records room in front of where it actually is. So, that all needs to be sorted out. And we were fortunate enough for the select board and for FinCom to approve that amount of money. So we have gone ahead and the select board, well, Lorne has actually worked with Gary and Halnan, and we were a little bit perturbed because they were going to survey that whole block, but it was going to take a month. And if we want to get this grant in, we don't have a month. But Lorne had spoken with them and they now are going to be able to do it within a week, I think he said, didn't he? A week or 2 weeks. So it will give a little bit more time to get that all straightened out, sorted out, and then, you know, it's, you know, maybe then move ahead with talking with Jane and David and with the town and everything else, and maybe get the funding to help us get that foundation sorted out. Because, you know, as Kathy said, this has been going on for years. I remember when I first came to sit on a historic commission meeting, that was being discussed about then, and that was several years ago. And now we're at the point where that poor little building, I think if we don't get the foundation done this year, we've lost the building. I think it's just going to collapse. And that would be absolutely horrific. So once we get this done, if we can get this grant approved, honestly, even if we don't get the grant approved, I think that we're going to have to try and get funding some other way.
Yeah.
Because even if the rest of the records room can't be fixed this year, the foundation has to be. So one way or another, we've
Right.
got to get it done.
The two priorities on the records room are, it needs a French drain, because they won't even work on the foundation until the French
Yeah.
drain has been installed to direct the water away from the building. So if it comes down to it and we do not get the grant, we should at least approach CPA
Yeah.
for funding to get that done, because that will slow the water
Yeah.
retention in that building. And then the next step will be getting the foundation repaired from downstairs and getting a concrete floor or something down there so that it's not a swamp. And then, I mean, we're gonna have to go several rounds on this
Yeah.
building.
Yep.
It's not gonna be one and done. It's gonna be money here, money there.
Yeah.
and, You know,
But I think one of the good
It
things
doesn't-
is we do
doesn't sound
actually
like-
have the backing. I'm sorry?
I was gonna say, it doesn't sound like there's any land to bring any kind of machinery up to do any work.
Well, that's where we
I
have
mean,
to go on
you'd
our
have to
knees
get
and
permission to get,
right,
Right.
exactly. We need to work with, you know, the abutters to make sure that, you know, they're in agreement that it can be done, that, you know, we do it in the least disruptive way. You know, if we follow the proposal to do the septic field on lot 9-1, then we could pull the water off, I believe, in front of the building. But, you know, we're still in investigative mode because we don't know what the lot lines are. But once a survey is complete, the engineers can come in and say, all right, this is what you need to do. This is what it's going to cost. And then from that plan, we break it down and we say, all right, we'll get grant money for this. We'll work, you know, with the CPA to maybe do this part of it. And then maybe we look to another grant, you know, resource. It's going to be a long haul, but.
we do what we've got to do if we want to keep the building. You know, if it's got to be done piecemeal, it's got to be done, but it'll be done properly.
Right.
So
what, does there have to be some thought as to what the building will be used for afterwards?
that was discussed. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things. What are we going to do with it? At this point, you know, it sounds kind of a little bit naive and a bit ridiculous, but we're not even going down that road right now. What we're doing is let's stop it falling down and then we'll decide what we're going to do with it. I mean, it depends what we can do with it. If we can get a septic in there, if we can get water in there, well, we've got water, but the wrong kind of water. But if we can get, you know, running water in there, a well or whatever, access to, if we could get a bathroom in there, hey, there's a lot of uses to it, but it just depends on, like Kathy said, it's going to be step by step. And if we can get the foundation secured, the water out of it, the moisture out of it, then we can get the engineers to say to us, well, what's the best use for this building? What can we do with it? Is it just going to be, you know, like a little museum, or what are we going to do with it? But the main thing is we've got to save it before we consider, I think, what the use is going to be.
I think the state would like to know that it will serve a purpose in the community. You know, that when they, grant you this money, the community will have access and, I mean, they don't want it to disappear, and they want to make sure that the money is, spent in, allows, people to really, enjoy the building, whether it's in a municipal situation or community meetings. I mean, it would make a great building for somebody.
Yep. Or at the end of the day, whether, if we get it into a condition where it can be sold, whatever it happens to be. It's in a historic district, so we have to maintain it. We have to take care of it. We'll have to see what we can do with it. But I think the main thing at the moment is that we got the funding. We do actually have a lot of the support from, like, Lorne Tinio was very, very keen on supporting it. CPC was very, concerned about maintaining it and keeping it. Everybody wants to keep the building, but no one wants to pay any money to do it. So, like Kathy said, it may be a little bit piecemeal, but we will get it done. It would be nice if we could at least get the foundation and everything done.
Yeah.
Spring, summer, and then we can move forward on, see what other grants or anything is out there. Okay, so that's all we have on the records room? Yes, I
That
think.
is it.
Yep. So for our next meeting, hopefully we'll have an update and we should have all of that done. And we should be at the point where we could hopefully have the grant. You and I can work and get that grant put in, whatever. All right, so moving on, before we close that, does anybody have any other comments or questions or anything on the records room? Okay, we will move on to number 6, demolition bylaw amendments. Daniel, did you hear anything? Have we spoken to Kim or anything about these yet?
No, second, let me flip this back to the
Okay,
on screen so I can share this.
she's what?
Um,
Out where?
right, let me turn the mics back on. So I basically took the original bylaw, started over, and wrote a new draft. I have not sent this out. I felt that this commission should review, and then I was
Yep.
hoping Lonnie would stay. I thought I mentioned to him, but he probably forgot. But we should probably get some further input. Again, I think in time, this one, we should submit this as a placeholder by the 17th, but we certainly have time to talk about this at subsequent meetings.
Yeah.
We just make sure they know it's coming. I don't know if you want me to just quickly go through how this is different. Or...
Yeah, I think if everybody has time, I think it would be interesting if we could all go through it and just comment. Because otherwise, if we just send this to everybody looking for comments, it's kind of a, do you mind? Does anybody mind just running through them?
Nope.
Oh, well, after this, we're done.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so basically, I think the first, there's some new cleanup definitions, cleaned up some things that were like these numbers that were wrong.
yep.
So the first major change is I'm proposing getting rid of the whole historical significance review. I think that's one of the objections to the bylaw. It's a little confusing. It's kind of in 2 phases. So what we're saying is that certain buildings in town are regulated buildings or structures. And that's defined as a building or structure on the National Register, the State Register, or subject to a pending application, a building or structure located in or within 200 feet of an existing federal, state, or local historic district. So that automatically includes every property in the current districts. And then item 3 is a building or structure included in the historical resource inventory issued by the Historical Commission, as described below. I then outline a procedure to create this inventory. Let's see. And I think upon acceptance of the bylaw, an initial inventory will be created automatically that has every building built prior to 1950. So effectively, it's the same exact thing, just worded differently. And then there's kind of there's a process.
So hang on, you said 1950, so we're doing 50 years? I thought we were doing 75.
1950 is like 76 years or something.
Oh, it is, you're right. Oh, God.
I figured it was easier to use a
I'm
hard date.
going.
Life comes at you
2050.
fast.
Math is the first to go.
I said, all of a sudden, I looked at that with 1950, that's only 50 years ago. Oh, dear. I'm older than I remembered.
That's so.
Okay, all right, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, so basically, changes to the inventory require a hearing. We have to notify the property owner. And in that hearing, we use the criteria, the same stuff we've used. Any building or structure 75 years old, associated with events or activities, the lives or persons significant, or is, what is this, embodies in itself or in context with a group, some thing that's relevant to the history of Mendon. And then at that hearing, we would determine whether it is added to the inventory, removed from the, whatever the case may be.
Okay,
There's a process for review. So once a year, we're going to hold a public hearing where is just open for any proposed changes.
like that.
Alternately, anybody can propose changes. The difference is in that case, they have to pay for the hearing. And I also specified that we're not required to reconsider something within 2 years. So that will stop potential abuse of the process.
Right,
But it provides a mechanism for you to challenge, I don't believe this property should be listed on this register. Okay, come to our annual hearing.
and apply
Or-
to have it removed or modified.
Yeah, or if you don't like it, you can pay the $100 and
Right.
we'll have a hearing and
Okay,
talk about it. Because
I like that.
there certainly are properties that meet the standard by age alone that are not worth our time.
Right.
And I think that's one
Dan,
of the.
can I ask a question? Why is it, like, how many feet next to a historic district? Why that?
Because that's what Lexington had in theirs, or whoever I stole this from. So
I guess I don't understand why they did that then.
I don't know.
I mean,
If
why-
you think it was,
because otherwise you would extend the historic district that more, 200 more feet,
So I wonder,
Right. well, it's
I wonder if they're trying to avoid
New construction next to it, yeah.
between a historic district and the next building over.
Like, for example, if somebody, I mean, what in your specific situation, Janice, what it would do is if your house was its own independent historic district, it would stop anybody building within 200 feet of your property line. So you're not going to have like it's trying, I think, to keep everything the same format rather than
Yeah.
having like one little house and McMansions all the way around it.
It's too late. Yeah, they're there.
Well, yeah, in your
But,
case,
yeah,
well,
but I
this is
understand
why
what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah.
I just, yeah.
I mean, what it's, I unfortunately, I think that, we're trying to bring this demolition bylaw in, and it's a shame because in Mendon, it's too late for an awful lot of properties. But, if we can,
So,
I do.
Janice, explain your reservation with that. Do you think we're better off not putting that in there?
Are you talking to me?
Janice? Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I just, it just seems like, people, like, if I decided to be a historic district, then I made that decision. But then I'm kind of making it for people within 200 feet of me also, and they didn't have any input on that. I mean, granted, they could go to the town the general meeting and say, we don't think we should be part of this or have to
right.
operate under
right.
those laws. But just seems we're making the decision for people who didn't have the opportunity to say we do or we don't want to, we do or we don't agree with this historic district. That's all.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
that's a
think
good point.
Janice makes a good point, because I just thought of something. The way this is written, those properties are permanently protected, requiring a demolition hearing. So perhaps that should be limited to just because basically this is saying that if your house was built in 2007 and it's in the historic district and you want to tear it down, you have to have a demolition to a formal hearing,
Right.
just because it's in the historic district. So I suppose that 200-foot might be an undue burden. for
Well,
those
I
people.
mean, but that's unfortunately why we go to town meeting and have this voted on by the town.
Oh,
You
for
know,
the
when we
district.
put that district up, the center district here, there are some houses there that aren't historic that are in the district. Anybody who wants to tear down one of those houses has got to come before the commission and have a public hearing on it.
Right, but so to Janice's point, I think we probably should axe that 200-foot thing because they're not in the district.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If there was a specific property we found significant, then we should add.
it should already be there. It should already, yeah, I mean, I think
let
I
it go
agree
then.
with you, Janice, on that. I think, you know, if the house is significant, then it would already be on that regulated list of buildings that we're going to produce. So,
Right.
so is that even necessary? No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think listed in the regulated buildings and structures. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, so by default, those are in there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Good
so
one,
that's-
Janice.
That's basically that.
Great catch, because that would be a sticking point for a lot of people. Anytime you start to kind of list either dates, time, or measurement, people will freak out.
it's,
I kept the requirements fairly loose, by the way, so we're gonna, if something within the district, we have to notify the property owner. And I think I put, anyone else we deem materially affected. I didn't feel the need to put in a formal, everybody within 100-foot, 200-foot.
Yeah,
Again, we don't want to be in the situation of mailing out.
No, we
12,000
don't.
Letters. I think
Right.
we can decide. So that's that. The next step is demolition delay review.
okay.
That is basically the same. The difference is that if you're listed, if you are a registered or restricted building because of one of those criteria, and you want to tear down, it just goes right to a hearing. So I specified the material they need to provide in the application form. I included a proposed timeline for the demolition and reuse, even though I think we can't act on that information. I don't think there's any harm in asking for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's,
They could flat out lie to us, but
well, which happens and
Yeah.
has happened. But I mean, it's a proposed timeline. I don't think, I think one of the things I've learned about this demo delay process is that people want to do what they want to do. They're prepared to come to meetings or ask certain permissions, put it in front of you, but they don't want to be restricted on that property. They don't want to be told, well, you've got to do it within a year, or, what you can do and what you can't do with their property. And I get that. I understand it. So I think if we can generalize and make this very user friendly, it will get passed. Anything in there like that one that Janice just picked up, that could have stalled the whole freaking thing. So I think that, yeah, I think we can ask for things. We can't demand things.
yeah, so I mean, we should check that over. I mean, it's the same stuff, photographs, a description, a map.
Yeah.
I kept this from the, so that it gets submitted online, or if it goes to the building, they have 5 days to get it to us. We then have 60 days to hold a hearing.
Yep.
Now, that's a lot, but I was trying to, it seems like we want to meet once a month. And the worst case scenario, someone applies to us here. I think I put it in my comments. If we meet the third Monday of the month, the deadline is the first Monday to give us enough time to send the letters and post the hearing.
Yep.
But that's it. It's 60 days. You have the hearing. We have 10 days to render a decision and it's done. No,
Yeah, and I mean, we're not saying we're going to take 60 days. We're saying no later than. I mean, anybody that wants to turn around and say, well, you're going to take 60 days, you prove to us one instance where we've ever taken 60 days. We've called meetings out of order.
Yeah.
Just so that we can do this. So, yeah,
Well, will that be a point of contention again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Oh, I mean,
it's days, not business days. I got rid of all that. So it's just.
I mean,
basically-
you can take out, that no later than 6 days. You can say at their next scheduled meeting.
I think
But I do think we need to kind of say, but no later than
that's
60
what it
days.
says. At their next scheduled meeting, but no later than 60 days.
Yeah,
I think we have to have some protections.
yeah,
I mean, this is
Yeah.
a volunteer board that we're going to meet once a month.
right.
If something really comes up,
Yep,
we can help. I don't
Yep.
know. I mean, we had talked 45 days was thrown around, but 45 days only works. Concom, they meet every 2 weeks
Yep.
to meet their deadlines. Anyway, so this is all the same.
Dan, there was one thing there that I didn't,
Yeah.
where it says about it to owners of all adjoining property within a 300-foot radius.
So at that point, when we're holding a hearing to tear down and to discuss demolition,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in the existing bylaw, but I felt at that point we should be sending notice to a number of abutters. I don't know.
Well, can't we just say to all abutters within, but 300 feet isn't very far.
Yeah, I don't know what you want to specify.
I think we would need to put all abutters, wouldn't we?
Well, abutters is 300 feet. When you say that, it means it includes every directly. It goes 300 feet from the entire lot line, not from like a point in the middle of the property.
But 300 feet,
So
I mean,
300
like, for example, on my property at the back, I wouldn't have any abutters in the back, but I do.
You would though.
Right.
But I've got more than 300 feet.
Here,
So wouldn't we just say like
give me your,
abutters,
what's your number, Lynn? I'll show you.
65?
Give me a second. Where's,
But like in the back, I've got way more than 300 feet.
but I'll show you what the
Really?
computer will generate. You're what? This one?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Is that me? 65?
So 300-foot of butter list. It's going to include, oh, come on. So that's what it would include. It would include the one property behind you plus every property around and a few
For
extras. up
300
here.
feet, wow. It's a lot more.
Yeah, no, it definitely,
But I mean, throw out a number. I don't,
inclusive.
Do you think 300 feet is enough?
I don't know, because in some cases, people own acres.
Acres and right.
well, so as long as they're separate, it starts with each property. If somebody owns 1 million acres, it's still 300 feet from the end of their property.
From their property line.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Don't know if you.
So
want-
in some instances, it could be like 4 people,
Yeah.
but they're the immediate abutters. Okay, got it. I'm good with
And I
that.
think sometimes, it should be left to the discretion of the commission, because in some cases, it's, you want to include certain people.
We could do more.
Okay, well, you've said that, actually, I do apologize. I hadn't read the sentence after that, where it was, and to other property owners deemed by the commission to be materially
Yeah,
affected.
okay.
So no, okay, Dan, that's good.
Oh, yeah. So that's in the original, I think. So,
Okay,
um,
yep. So that's pretty much the same.
this is all the same. At the end of the hearing, we vote whether we find it, quote, preferably preserved. That's the same. We have 5 days to file a report on our decision. And then, if we find it preferably preserved, we can impose a delay of up to 9 months.
Okay,
That seemed to be the number we arrived at for a
it
compromise. I don't
was,
know.
yep.
Yeah,
I think
great job, Dean.
this photographic survey we had added just says we reserve the right to request it,
Mm-hmm.
at least exterior, at our own expense.
Should
I
we
put in-
qualify why we want that, just for historical for the town, or?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to add more.
I was just thinking if people sometimes accept things better if they understand the reasoning behind it. So
Yeah,
if we
that's-
say photographic survey, after that first sentence, just say which to preserve as records with the Historical Society or something like that.
We could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
I don't know, does that work? The survey will be used to document the historical nature of the property.
Yes, and then we're not
Yep.
held to anything, but we know we might want, the Historical Society might want it or whatever. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
I think that makes
I put this blurb in about fees, but
Mhm.
the way it's written,
Yes.
so the applicant pays the mailing and the hearing, same as they do now.
Mhm.
Yep.
This provision allows us to maybe charge a fee in the future, but I don't see us ever wanting to. So then this we had talked about previously. Demolition delay approvals shall expire 1 year from the date of issuance. If a demo permit has not been issued, the process restarts with a new hearing required. And then this, maybe we should talk about this. If demo delay is issued, the applicant must apply for a permit within 6 months of the expiration of the delay. Otherwise, it starts over. I took that from Lexington, and that is a pretty aggressive timeline. I think it's kind of saying if you're going to go through that hassle of demo delay, then you better be serious about it.
Issued, the applicant must apply within 6 months of the expiration of the delay.
I don't know. A lot of this came from Lexington. They seem to be
Demolition
fairly
permits not
aggressive.
issued within 6 months of the expiration of the delay or the demolition permit expires, the process will restart.
I mean, the reality is once they get a demo permit, they can just keep extending that in theory, but
What if
it
you
might make people.
have a demo permit,
Right.
demo permit lasts for a year?
My understanding is the building code permits are generally for a year and they're really only supposed to be, but if you go to them and say, oh, I couldn't get a contractor, that the ground is muddy, they're going to extend it.
So they can
Their
extend.
discretion.
Okay, well, I don't think, I think that's fine.
I would think in
They
some
must
town
apply
they
for a
might
demo
be-
permit within 6 months of the expiration of the delay. Yep.
I mean, I think the goal here, and this is something I think maybe Cindy didn't understand and we never really talked about, is a lot of this is just trying to, I guess, discourage frivolous demolition. Like, if you have a plan in place, okay, fine, it is what it is. But the idea, like, certain properties, you're just going to tear it down and leave a vacant lot for 20 years.
But that's not going to stop that though, Dan.
I think it just sends the message of saying, if you're going to come to us for this, you're going to see it through and
But I think, honestly, the only thing I will say to that is,
Oh, you're
I
right.
think that encourages it more than not. If we say to them, at the end of your demolition delay, you've got 6 months to get that demo permit, they're going to get that demo permit and just knock it down and we're going to have an empty vacant lot.
maybe, I mean, I guess maybe I'm thinking the alternative is the blighted building. So, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we should take this part out then.
Well, no, what does everybody else think?
Too much.
One of the questions that I would put out there is that if we get into this particular component and somebody waits it out, doesn't apply, but then goes and demolishes it, what's the recourse?
Well, that's
Then we get tangled up in, okay, are there punitive measures involved?
Right. That's the big thing about this whole demolition delay. You can have it as a bylaw, but unless it's got teeth to it, and there is some kind of, damages,
Well, there's teeth. It's just a matter of whether the town is willing to pursue.
is going to do it. Yeah.
As we've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any reason with leaving that in there. Do you?
No, I mean, we should make it as clear as possible.
Yeah.
If it's been issued and you did not do the delay, you need to come back.
Yeah. No, I like that. We can leave that down.
Um,
How about the others? How do you feel about it?
Building permit. you know?
Yeah. Anybody else got a comment on that? No, okay. On we go.
Responsibilities in the owner and commission, this is mostly the same.
Yep.
We stole this bona fide effort to blah, blah, blah. I think this was in previous drafts. So this is new, demo by neglect. I took this
Good.
mostly from Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
If the commission has reason to believe through visual inspection or other means that a regulated building or structure may be undergoing demo by neglect, then the commission shall notify the building commissioner and the owner, and the commission and the commissioner shall jointly hold a public hearing to discuss. In furtherance of determining its condition, the commission may request an inspection of the building by the commissioner. If we determine that it is undergoing demo by neglect, we attempt to negotiate a voluntary agreement. And if that fails, I believe we have the ability to take them to court. The key to this is it requires the building commissioner to cooperate.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm
Right.
hoping
Yeah,
that this
I
is more.
like this section.
I do too.
I mean, in reality, is this ever going to be enforceable? Probably not, but at least it provides a tool that we can say, hey, we need to talk to you about this, and let him be the one that says, you know what, I'm not pushing it.
Right, right.
Again, I think this came all from Lexington.
Dan, didn't we have something in the original that said something about during the 6-month period of a demolition delay that the applicant has to make that property like,
It's right here.
oh, it's in there? There we go. Okay,
Says if
Yeah.
they
That's
have to, once it's been determined to be preferably preserved,
okay,
they have to secure
Have to
it,
keep it
Okay.
up.
blah, blah, blah.
perfect. Alrighty.
So then this is the same emergency demolition. Oh, I want to change inspector to commissioner everywhere. But, get the rest of those. Then this non-compliance and enforcement, I cleaned up a little of this copying from Lexington. Again, this was the part where Cindy raised some questions. I mean, this language seems to be pretty universal in every demo bylaw I found.
Right,
Basically, if they have a violation, they're getting fined $300 a day, and they're banned for up to 2 years from getting any permits, not just for the building, but for the entire property.
yep,
Again, that's going to require the cooperation of other departments and people to enforce, but
right.
I don't think it's I mean, it's not like we're doing something crazy that no other town has done before.
No,
Right.
I don't know. And then this severability, and then that's it.
I think that looks good, Dan,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
How about everybody else?
Yeah, I think you did a
I
good
think it
job.
looks
Can I ask a
good,
question though?
very good.
If there's a house that you feel is like becoming demolition by neglect, shall we say,
Yep.
and you hold that meeting, what if the issue is that the people just don't have the money? I mean, then what happens?
Well, I think it said there that the commissioner would work with them.
Right,
Hang
but I mean, I guess my concern is giving that person some tools ahead of time to work with that. Because if something comes up and we say, well, this person, they really don't have the money to sustain this house, then what? And then, you know, you say, well, it's on the commissioner, but I mean, if that commissioner if this is new to him and he has no idea what to do, or it's putting it on the town, then what happens?
So the way this is written, at a hearing, well, first we have to attempt to negotiate a voluntary agreement with the owner. So if that fails for whatever reason, the next step would be we can choose to take to court. It's not a requirement,
Oh, we're almost done.
and it does say the commission may forbear from
done.
commencing an action in court
Just
for any
let me-
reason. So I think, you know,
I mean, I can
I mean-
understand that if it's somebody who's doing it like, you know, maybe somebody who wants to take the house down and build a big one. But if you have somebody who actually can't afford it, then, I mean, I'm just not sure how we support them. We take them to court and they still can't pay. It's even worse.
well, I think we would choose not to. to be fully
Then the
realistic.
issue is, if we're saying that, the house is going, it's a historic home and it's going by decay, then, I mean, what do we do to support that
Well-
person to help them maintain that house?
I think we
Hold
help
on.
them find resources.
I mean, none of this commits us to an action, and I think we have the ability to do, waive things. I mean, I don't,
Yeah, no, I
this town-
understand that. I guess my concern is, we're calling out these people, and that's difficult to hear that. Well, for some people that you haven't been able to keep your house up, but I mean, many of the population here are getting older and aren't able to do all of that. So, I mean, I just think we at some point maybe need to find some resources that we can say, oh, do this, or this could help you, or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, I think I agree with you, Janice, and that was one of the things that we wanted to do, was put together, go on like the mass serve and on other things, and put together a list of, as you say, resources that, maybe people can help. We had said, but, when we were talking before, we'd said things like, getting in touch with Benjamin Moore and seeing if they would be, willing to support paint, or, something like that. I think that's something that we definitely do want to do. I think the problem is in trying to separate out the people that are demolition by deliberate neglect and the people that are, neglect for, because they don't have any
Right,
other option.
You're right. I just think it sends a different message if we say, well, we're here to help, so that, somebody who's doing it, shall we say, for the money, kind of puts them at a disadvantage.
It kind of does. The problem is, if we, I think what we've got to try and word this in some way, whether it goes into the bylaw or whether it's something that we do separately from the bylaw, is just help people
Right.
with these houses. Because what's happening is they are letting them get run down, and people are coming in, snatching them up and then wanting to demolish them. It is a very difficult thing to do, but if we work, hopefully the onus on this, I think, is going to be on the building department, and if we can find some resources so that the building commissioner, when he goes, or I think it says something about a member of the commission's going to go with him or whatever, we can help them, but we also don't want to be in a situation where, somebody. I think we just want to, we want to try and help people, but we also don't want to be suckered in by people that just can't be bothered to spend any money on their house.
Absolutely, right.
Lynn,
Which,
I think that we've seen a few of those.
yeah,
already.
yes,
I think that section, we're talking about properties that are like condemned. We're not
Yeah.
talking about somebody that their roof is a little messed up or they got
Right.
leaking water. We're talking about even 9 Main Street probably just now is reaching a point that we would ask that question.
right.
These are vacant properties where if somebody's living there, they should absolutely be removed for their own safety. That's where this provision, I think, would come into play. By the time this, I mean, it's a sad reality, or like George, the 34 George Street there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a pretty high bar. I don't think we're going to go after somebody because their paint's being.
I don't think we're going to go after anybody. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get to hear about a house that is in not good shape, and maybe there are people in there that don't have the funds to do anything. And at that point, maybe, we can approach them and help them before it becomes to a situation where the house is, has got to be condemned. But I agree with you. I think we should definitely try and get those resources. But, when you're in a town that doesn't have huge amounts of money anywhere, we've got to try and work and figure out other resources. But I agree with you, Janice. We definitely need to help these people. But I think this bylaw is, I don't think we can put anything in there. That's something we have to do outside of the bylaw, maybe through, I
Oh,
don't know.
Right, right, exactly. I mean, I just think, I don't want us to be seen as punitive,
Right.
Can I
As to be seen as-
interject?
Yes, of course, Tom. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not saying, it's giving us another tool, you know?
Yeah.
It's not forcing our hands in any way. And if we were to try to get some resources going, I think that would have to be a separate bylaw, you know, establishing some kind of fund to do so.
Right. Yes.
If anything, this will just make it so people are more willing to go to us, you know, before it gets to the process of a fine. You know, so we're not finding out about these situations when it's about to come down anyways, you know, because of the force
I
of time
agree.
or just
Yeah. We had
I think
discussed
people-
as a commission earlier, actually getting, some resources together and then maybe, having a meeting of some kind to just say to people with not just historic homes, but, homes in general, that, here are some people that you may be able to approach for assistance. If we have that kind of thing, that kind of packet available with, even if it's coupons off or whatever it happens to be for homeowners, I think that would be a really neat thing to do. But I think what we've got to be careful of, I mean, I think Dan has done an amazing job on this bylaw. I think it's a lot more user friendly than it was. I think that people are actually going to like it. I mean, I really think it's a lot better than it was. But I think we've got to be careful that we don't try and confuse too much. Let's get this bylaw passed and then we can work on some way of helping people. I mean, I don't think this threatens anybody. I don't think it puts pressure on anybody. But I think that if anybody feels that way, then we should be there with some kind of assistance to help them out, especially if it's an historic home.
Tom, it seems like this might fit in with your economic development, if you put together a pack and get some of the businesses in town that might be willing to, like with, give a 10% coupon. I mean, people give coupons all the time, but it would be bringing business to town. So, I mean, it'd be kind of neat to put the two of the resources together.
I mean, that's something we definitely have talked about. Look down and that sort of thing, for sure. It being something we want to look at, but I think someone highlighted that just don't have a great deal of money, and I don't know that there are. I mean, we'd have to crowdsource it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Dan, I really like this. So where do you want us to move forward with this now?
So I think if everyone's okay here, we should submit this, send it to Lonnie, send it to Cindy for their feedback, and submit it for the next, the Springtown meeting.
Okay.
Again,
I think we should make a motion
perhaps.
to approve this new draft bylaw that's been before us tonight, and that we should move to,
Perhaps we should invite, if she can
I'll
come
second.
to March meeting.
Is that
Okay,
without
thanks,
the
Tom.
extra feet, 200 feet or something?
Yep, that's already been taken out. He's removed that.
Okay.
Okay, Tom has approved it. Okay, can I have
Second.
Janice, Tom seconded, Janice, yes. Connie? Connie, aye? She's muted. Connie?
Yes, Connie said yes.
Connie, aye. Okay.
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Lynn, aye. Kathy had to leave, so. All right, that motion's carried. I will, Dan, would you like me to forward that to Lorne,
If-
Cindy?
If you want, or I can, I just need to send you the file, just change it again, so.
Okay, all right. Can I leave it with you to send then?
Send it to Kim,
Okay.
Lonnie and Cindy and say, here's an update.
This is the update of the amendments to the bylaw that we're planning on presenting at the town meeting. Are there any? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay.
In fact, maybe I'll go back and reply all to that whole group.
Okay. That sounds good. And then if we can get all of that, do you think we should actually send it to the building commissioner too?
Oh, yeah, I should send it to him. How they do that.
What about the town planner?
Yeah, actually, I know Jack had mentioned, so I'll send it to all. of them.
Yeah, send it to all of them and we'll see what comments we get back.
I think,
all right.
again, I think maybe we should say, we'd like to discuss this further at our next meeting.
Yep.
If we're not locked into anything,
No,
we can always modify this draft and
Yeah.
worst case, you can always make.
I do like this draft. I'll tell you, I think it's a lot clearer. I think people know where they stand a lot easier. It's not as complicated. I think it spells everything out a lot easier. I like it.
Seemed to be one of the common feedback was people wanted a list.
Yep.
Now, granted, the list is just every house at this point, but it provides a mechanism to remove properties. If people want to pursue that.
Yeah,
I think it makes it a little more transparent.
I think so too. All right. Okay, we will take that then. So does anybody have any other topics that they needed to raise that were not on the agenda? Okay. Our next meeting should be, well, you guys are all going to go to the one on Monday, the 28th at, what time did you say, 6?
I'm gonna put, I actually did it while we were sitting here. So 6 o'clock, I actually set an agenda for.
Oh, okay, perfect. So 6 o'clock on Monday, everybody, if you can be there, it shouldn't be too long. And then our next meeting will be, 1, 2, 3, the 21st of March at 7 p.m. Now we may need, does everybody have a town email? Or I have I
Yes.
think I,
But I
okay, I
don't
think I have everybody's email. Because this next few, this is going to be a busy time where we may want to add things to the warrant or whatever. So can you make sure you check your town email, because you might be getting quite a few things come through that we're going to need approval on, or we might, have an additional meeting or whatever. All right, and if nobody has anything else, I think we can close the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, Dan made the motion to adjourn. I'll second. Everybody. Okay, Connie, aye.
Aye.
Janice?
Yep.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.